Today we're going to be taking a look at Star Trek Attack Wing. It's a new game released by WizKids, licensed the flight path maneuver system that was made popular by Star Wars X-Wing. It was also around for a game before that. For the life of me, I can't remember the name of it. But this is the box. You get a Klingon ship, a Federation ship, and a Romulan ship. On the back, you have a basic explanation of the flight maneuver system, a little showing you what the contents is, and a list of everything. We're going to go and show you everything that's in there. My tripod didn't want to cooperate with me to get a good angle, so sorry if this is shaky. I'll try not to. This is the contents of the starter box. You have here your movement templates. This is your rangefinder. You have your attack and defense dice here. These objective markers can be used for various missions. You can see that one has a wrecked ship on it. They say objective on the other side, like those. These mission tokens here are used to keep track of points during various missions. These are your shield icons. They flip over to designate when you're missing a shield. You have your lock counters here, A, B, and C. These ones are kind of hard. I'm going to have to zoom in a little here. These are your cloak icons. There's one for the Klingon, one for the Romulan ship. You have your battle stations token and sensor token for the Enterprise. Your evasive maneuver tokens. This is a minefield template. We'll get to that when we actually get to the minefield card. You get this planet template, which is double-sided. These are your critical hit. I wish there were more than 3. That's one of the only things I complain about in this set. There's a couple others I'll get to when I get to them. Your disabled tokens for when you disable various options on your ship or crewman. These are your auxiliary power tokens. There's one for each ship in the starter. These are your crew. Oops, getting my strap in the picture there, sorry. These are your various crew options that the starter set comes with. You got Picard and Riker, or a generic captain for the Federation, and I can't remember the Romulan names or the Klingon names off the top of my head. But you have a named and a generic for both of them. You get the full rule book, which is nice and full color. I'll show you that a little bit more later on. You also get a quick play rules, which lets you play right out of the box, but skips a lot of the special rules, which make the game a lot of fun. You have your damage deck here. I have mine in sleeves just to protect them, but you got your hits on one side and your critical damage on the other. And then you got your 3 starter ships. The Mata Klingon Cruiser. I'm not pronouncing it right because I don't speak Klingon. The Galaxy Class Enterprise D. And the Diedrichs. I don't speak Romulan either. That's the Kahazara. Yeah, I butchered that name too. But anyway, so you get the 3, they all have the option to run them as named or generic ships. There's stats for both. And anyway, that's the contents of the starter box. I'll go into things a little more detail here in a minute. So the first thing I want to show here in kind of detail is the rulebook. That's really nice, full color book. It explains everything that you're going to get, how to assemble your ships, and basic play, where everything goes on the field and how it's going to interact. And then you got your normal rules that explain how to actually play the game. Very nice. I don't know if it'll focus, but they have these very nice illustrations of how everything works, how to check ranges, how different abilities interact. They even go through a simulated battle, showing you how you're going to roll attack and defense dice and how they work together. There's things on movement, about ship collisions. It's a very nice book. It goes through the optional rules here in the back, that advanced rules there, that explain how to build your own custom ships using the options in game and the different things available to you. In the very back, this is one of my complaints about this compared to the expansions, and when you get to one of the expansion videos you'll understand. They have a couple different missions back here for you to try, just to play something other than Annihilation. And on all the expansion packs, these missions come on a card. So you can put them in a pile and just randomly choose one, where these ones are only available in the book. So kind of a shame they didn't follow the same format with all of them. There's a nice table of contents in the back, so you can look up, or index actually I should say, so you can look up things quickly if you have a question on the rules or you need to look something up during a game. Then they have a picture here. These are the currently available expansions. And we'll be going through them one at a time and showing you what comes with those as well. On the back, you have a quick reference card here. Basically tells you the phases of the game, what you can activate during your turn, combat phases, and then over here is a brief description of the different abilities that you can use. And it's good to reference, especially your first couple games till you get used to playing. Alternatively, it also comes with this quick play guide, which again shows you how to assemble your ships, but gives you a really basic overview. So if you just want to play right out of the box, you can. We played one game using these rules just to learn the basics, and then we moved to the advanced rules, which make the game a lot more interesting. But these are a good start if you just want to get right out of the box and play and see how the game plays. The next thing I wanted to go into was the dice. I've heard a lot of people say that they think the dice for this game are cheap, and I'm not seeing it. They seem good quality gaming dice to me. There's no flaws or anything in mine, no misprints. The only thing I do complain about is that there's only five attack and 5 defense dice, and certain ships, like even the ones in the starter set, the Romulan Diedrich class, if it's cloaked, uses 6 defense dice, and you only have 5, so you end up having to re-roll. So hopefully they're going to have dice available soon. The system that it uses is very simple. It's been used in other games in the past. You roll X amount of dice depending on your ship. You have a hit, you have a critical hit, you have battle stations, or blanks. Depending on certain abilities, the battle stations can be changed to the role of your choice, depending on what abilities you have. And then in defense, you roll the green dice, you have the same battle stations icon, you have, oh, it's really hard to see, you actually have a dodge icon, or evade, and then blanks. And the idea is you roll however many attack dice you have, you take the hits, you roll however many defense dice your opponent has, and of course I didn't roll any evasions. There we go, you take the evasions cancel the hits. So the basic concept of the flight path system works on these dials. If I can get that to focus so you can read it. Probably not. There it goes. This is one for the Galaxy class, which we have right here. It works the same for the Enterprise D, and what it is you pick what kind of maneuver you want to do. Now there's green maneuvers. Those are red. Find a green one. There's your green. Green maneuvers, which are easy to do for your ship and actually let you remove auxiliary power tokens if you have them. You have your white maneuvers here, which are normal, and red maneuvers, which cost auxiliary power. You can only ever have one auxiliary power token on your ship, so if you perform a red maneuver, you cannot perform another one next turn. You also cannot perform an action in the turn that you perform a red maneuver. So say we're going to take our ship here, we're going to do this. Now everybody sets these for every ship they have without the other players knowing. If you have teammates, you can share with them, obviously, and when you're done, you flip it over and you place it next to your ship. Now nobody knows what anybody else's ship is going to do until it's time to reveal. So then you go in order of captains, and I'm sure there's other videos that teach you how to play. I'm not going to go through all of that right now, but basically when your turn comes up, you flip over your dial and you reveal that we're going to do a 2 sweeping turn, or banking turn as they call it, in which case you put this template up to the front of your ship. You're going to hold the template and then move the ship up like that, and that's all there is to it. And ideally you want to play on something a little less slippery than this table, so things don't slide like that was when you put the template up against it. They slide real easy on this. Anything with a little bit of texture will work. Now these turn templates are basically how the system is played. You got straight, there's turn, there's sharp turns, And they are made out of, I don't know if you can tell, it's a pretty thick board. It's very durable. Eventually these are going to wear out. It is cardboard. But there are places online, Litco Gaming is one, which sells a whole complete set of these templates. I believe it's like $20 right now. And they're made out of a thick acrylic. So those are nice. And on top of that, they also are transparent. So if you have two ships that move over top of each other, you can actually hold the template up and see through. It also works good for the range finding template, which is this one here. You can hold it from your ship to find your range, and you'll actually be able to see through. Not that it's that big of a deal, but it is a neat little option. And they come in multiple colors. They also have one that you can customize, which is a little more expensive. Now I do have some minor nitpicky complaints. Mentioned a couple about like the dice and the critical hit tokens. Another one though has got to be the box. They have this nice window cut through the box so you can see the ships. But once you've taken the ships out, you have a hole in your box. And it makes it almost impossible to store anything unless you want to keep this original plastic thing, which only holds the 3 ships. They did give you a nice little sectional thing here to put your cards and everything in, but nobody's going to use that kind of container. It's nice as the artwork and everything is on the box. You're pretty much never going to use the box again after you take the set out. And that's kind of a shame. I mean, there's ways to patch up the hole. My suggestion, it's a little bit of a mess here, is to go with one of these plastic trays. I've got everything segregated out. Your ship dials in here. It's a mess on the top because I've been filming these videos, but keep my dice in here, cards there. I mean, everything's separated out, all the different tokens you need, templates fit in the back, and this little section in here is where I've got my extra flight pegs. So it's definitely worth investing a couple dollars to get one of these to keep everything. The only thing is the ships won't fit in here, at least with everything else, but a smaller or a secondary one of these, and you can take the ships right off the base. They fit right in those, no problem. Even like a fishing tackle box, you can get several in there. So it's not that big of a deal. But definitely you're going to need another form of storage option. All in all, I love the game. I like everything about it. It's definitely worth picking up if you're into spaceflight games, even if you're not a Star Trek fan. WizKids is running a 6-month promotional event right now. I'll throw in some pictures here while I'm talking about it, of the Dominion War. There's going to be LE ships available as prizes for each of the months. There's also going to be participation prizes. Month 1 is a elite combat die or something along those lines that has 2 hit icons on it. But there's things like that each month. One of the months has a fleet flagship upgrade for one of your ships that you can upgrade it to a flagship and it gets better stats. And at the end there's going to be a huge battle and the winner's taking home a playable to scale for the game DS9 model, which is amazing. So yeah, it looks to be a lot of fun. It's a big long event, and of course through the end of the year, I believe there are currently right now there are 8 expansions available to the main set, 8 separate new ships, plus the 3 that came with it. Next month they're going to be releasing 4 more, and I believe in December there's going to be 4 more on top of all of the LEs that are coming with the organized play event, and expect to be a lot more next year. Since they're using the same models based right off of the HeroClix models, they already have a lot to choose from. The rulebook itself contains a list to show in the case of a tie who gets initiative, and it lists Kazon, Borg, Species 8472. I'm trying to think of who else is on there. I believe it even goes as far as Mirror Universe. So all that stuff we can expect to see next year. It's definitely a fun game. At least pick up the starter set and try it out with your friends. You got 3 ships, you can play 3-player, and you can have a lot of fun. The expansions only add more. And I'm going to be doing videos on each of the ships that are in the starter, as well as each of the expansions as I pick them up. So stay tuned and look for those, and maybe it can help you pick out which ones you want to get in the future.